The orc girl's claws scraped against the crystalline bark as Derek yanked the plasma cutter from his belt. Her eyes, wide and golden, locked onto his through the translucent prison that had grown around her like living glass. "Hold still," he said, igniting the tool. Blue flame hissed against the tree's surface. She snarled something in a language that made his teeth ache. The sound carried weight, like gravity had voice. Her tusks gleamed as she thrashed, but the tree held firm. It had been growing for months, maybe years, wrapping her in layers of hardened sap that pulsed with bioluminescent veins. Derek had found her by accident. His shuttle had gone down 3 clicks north, engines chewed apart by something that moved too fast to track. He'd been limping through the jungle when he heard her screaming, not calling for help. Screaming in rage. The plasma cutter carved deeper. Smoke rose thick and sweet. The tree shuddered. "Almost there," he muttered. She stopped thrashing. Her breathing slowed. Then her eyes changed. The gold darkened to amber, then to red. Deep crimson that seemed to bleed outward from her pupils. Derek's hands faltered. "What the?" The tree exploded. Not outward. Inward. The crystalline shell shattered and collapsed into her chest like a black hole swallowing light. Derek flew backward, slammed into mud, ears ringing. When he looked up, she was standing, 7 feet tall. Skin like storm clouds, muscles that could bend steel. She wore scraps of armor that had fused to her body during her imprisonment, metal plates covered in rust and moss. Her hair was black and wild, falling past her shoulders in matted ropes. She looked at her hands, turned them over, flexed her fingers. Then she looked at him. "You freed me," she said. Her voice was perfect English, accented with something ancient. Derek scrambled to his feet. Plasma cutter raised. "Stay back." She tilted her head. "You do not understand what you have done. I helped you. That's what I did." "No." She stepped forward. The ground beneath her feet cracked, not from weight, from something else. Energy rippled outward in waves, distorting the air. Trees bent. Leaves turned to ash. "You woke something that was sleeping." Derek's arm began to burn. He looked down. His skin glowed. Faint white light traced patterns up his forearm. Symbols he'd never seen but somehow recognized. They moved like living things, crawling toward his shoulder. "What is this?" he shouted. She smiled. "Not friendly. Not cruel. Something between. Bond, you freed me with your hands. Now your blood carries my power." "I don't want your power!" "Too late." She raised her hand. The jungle around them began to scream. Animals fled in every direction. The sky darkened. "They are coming. They felt it the moment you cut me free. We have minutes before they arrive." "Who's coming?" "The hunters who put me in that tree." Her eyes blazed red. "And now they will come for you too." A sound like thunder, but wrong. Rhythmic. Mechanical. Ships breaking atmosphere. She grabbed his arm. Her grip was iron. "Run with me, human, or die here. Choose now." They ran through jungle that fought against them. Vines whipped like serpents. The ground split open in jagged lines. Above them, 3 ships tore through the canopy, spotlights sweeping in geometric patterns. The orc girl moved like liquid violence. She didn't avoid obstacles. She destroyed them. Trees shattered when she touched them. Rocks exploded under her feet. Derek struggled to keep pace, his lungs burning, the glowing marks on his arm pulsing hotter with each step. "What's your name?" he gasped. "Kara." She didn't look back. "Keep moving." A beam lanced down from above, carving a trench 10 feet to their left. Steam erupted. Derek dove right, rolled, came up running. Kara grabbed him by the collar and threw him forward. He flew 20 yards and landed hard. "Get up!" she roared. He did. His body moved before his brain caught up. The marks on his arm flared white-hot. Pain shot through his nervous system, but his legs pumped harder, faster. He was moving at speeds that should have torn his muscles apart. "What did you do to me?" he shouted. "I did nothing." The bond did everything. Kara leaped over a ravine. Derek followed without thinking. They cleared 30 feet. "You are changing. Adapting." Your species always does when survival demands it. Another ship descended ahead of them, blocking their path. Its hull was black metal covered in glowing runes, the same symbols that now crawled across Derek's skin. A hatch opened. Figures dropped out, landing in formation. Not human, not orc, something else. They stood 8 feet tall, wrapped in armor that looked grown rather than forged. Organic plates shifted, breathed. Their faces were hidden behind masks shaped like screaming mouths. Each carried a weapon that hummed with contained energy. "Kara of the Red Storm," one said. Its voice was static and honey. "You were sentenced to eternal sleep. Your awakening violates the Covenant." Kara stopped running. Derek skidded to a halt beside her. "The Covenant died when you abandoned us," she said. Her hands clenched. The air around her fists shimmered. "You left my people to burn. Your people were a threat. You were a weapon we could not control. Then you should have killed me. We tried. You survived. So we imprisoned you where you could harm no one." Derek's arm blazed. The symbols spread across his chest now, wrapping around his ribs like chains of light. He could feel something building inside him. Pressure. It wanted out. "Kara," he said quietly, "I think something's wrong with me." She glanced at him. Her eyes widened. "No. Not wrong. Right. The bond is accelerating. You are becoming a conduit." "A what?" "A living battery for my power." She smiled, fierce and wild. "They feared me alone. Now there are 2 of us." The armored figures raised their weapons. "Surrender the human," the leader said. "We will make his death quick. Yours will take centuries." Kara laughed. The sound made reality ripple. "You want him? Come take him." They fired. Derek's world exploded into light. Energy beams converged on his position. He should have died, should have been atomized. Instead, his body moved on instinct. His hands came up. The symbols on his skin erupted outward in a shield of raw force. The beams struck and bent away, deflecting into the jungle. He stared at his hands. "How am I doing this?" "Stop questioning. Start fighting." Kara charged. She hit the first soldier like a meteor. Her fist went through its chest plate. Armor cracked. The figure crumpled. She spun, grabbed another by the helmet, and slammed it into the ground. The impact cratered the earth. Derek felt the bond pull. His body lurched forward against his will. Power surged through him, flowing from somewhere deep and primal. He pointed at a soldier. Light erupted from his palm. The beam carved through armor like paper. "I didn't mean to do that," he yelled. "Do it again!" Kara grabbed a weapon from a fallen enemy and threw it like a spear. It punched through 2 soldiers before embedding in a tree. More dropped from the ships. Dozens. They surrounded them in a tightening circle. The leader raised its hand. "Enough. Initiate Protocol Sundown." The ships above began to glow. Not their weapons. Their entire hulls, brighter and brighter until Derek couldn't look directly at them. Kara's expression changed. Fear. Actual fear. "Run," she whispered. "What?" "Run!" She grabbed him and sprinted. Behind them, the ships released their payload. Not bombs, not missiles. Light. Pure, concentrated energy that turned night into noon. The jungle ignited. Everything for miles began to burn. Derek looked back once, saw the wave of annihilation racing toward them. "We can't outrun that." "No," Kara said. "But we can outjump it." She leaped. Derek's stomach dropped as they launched into the air. Higher than possible. Higher than sane. They cleared the canopy, soared over burning trees, and came down on the far side of a cliff face. They hit water, a river. The current grabbed them and pulled them under. Derek fought to surface, lungs screaming. Kara hauled him up. "Swim," she commanded. They swam as the world behind them turned to ash. The river carried them 5 miles before Kara dragged Derek onto a muddy bank. He collapsed, coughing water, every muscle screaming. The symbols on his skin had stopped glowing, but remained visible, etched into his flesh like tattoos made of starlight. Behind them, the horizon burned orange. Smoke pillars rose into the night sky. "They will search the ashes," Kara said, wringing water from her hair. "When they find no bodies, they will expand the perimeter. We have hours, maybe less." Derek sat up, shaking. What were those things? Arbiters, enforcers of the old empire. She examined a cut on her shoulder, already healing. They were created to hunt beings like me, beings who refused to bow. And now they're hunting me too. Yes. Great. Perfect. Derek stood on wobbling legs. "So what exactly are you? What am I bonded to?" Kara turned to face him fully. In the moonlight, she looked almost human. Almost. My people were called the Ashborn. We were soldiers, bred and trained by the Empire to conquer worlds. They gave us power beyond measure, then feared what they had created. When we refused to slaughter innocents, they declared us rogue, enemies of order. They tried to wipe you out. They succeeded. I am the last. Her jaw tightened. Or I was, until you freed me. Now the power I carry lives in you as well. The bond cannot be broken. What I am, you are becoming. Derek looked at his hands. The symbols pulsed faintly with his heartbeat. I don't want to become a weapon. Too late for want. You made your choice when you pulled that trigger. She started walking. Come, we need supplies. Shelter. And answers. Answers to what? Why that tree grew around me in the first place. Someone put me there, human. Someone powerful enough to trap an Ashborn. She glanced back. I need to know who, and I need to know if they are still alive. They moved through the jungle, keeping to shadows. Derek's enhanced senses picked up details he had never noticed before. Individual leaves, insect songs, the faint electrical signature of distant machinery. His body processed information faster, reacted quicker. It felt wrong and right simultaneously. An hour later, they found a settlement. Small, maybe 30 buildings clustered around a central market. Humans mixed with other species. A frontier town on a frontier world. Stay close, Kara said. And do not use your power unless necessary. The bond is still new. You could kill everyone here by accident. Comforting. They entered through a back alley. Kara had wrapped herself in a salvaged cloak, hood pulled low. Even disguised, she drew stares. Derek kept his marked arm covered. A tavern sat at the edge of the market. Kara pushed through the door. Inside, smoke hung thick. Conversation died as they entered. Eyes tracked them to a corner booth. Wait here, Kara said. She approached the bar. Derek watched her work. She spoke quietly to the bartender, a scaled creature with 4 arms. Money changed hands. Information followed. She returned with 2 glasses of something that smelled like gasoline. Drink. It will help with the pain. Derek sipped. It burned all the way down. What did you learn? There is a data broker 3 streets over. He trades in forbidden information. Imperial records. Classified files. She drank hers in one gulp. If anyone knows who imprisoned me, it will be him. And if he does not want to share... Her smile was sharp. Then I will make him want to. They left the tavern and navigated narrow streets. The broker operated from a basement accessible only through a hidden door behind a noodle shop. Kara! Knocked in a pattern. The door opened. Inside, screens covered every wall. Data streams flowed in rivers of text and image. A thin man with cybernetic eyes sat at the center, fingers dancing across holographic keyboards. I am closed, he said, without looking up. You are open for me, Kara replied. He looked. His eyes widened. Ashborn. I have not seen one of you in 30 years. I know. I was sleeping. She leaned over his desk. I need records. Imperial detention logs. Search for Kara. Red Storm designation. Imprisonment date approximately 3 decades ago. His fingers flew. Screens shifted. Data scrolled. This will cost you. Derek placed a credit chip on the desk. Everything he had. That enough? The broker scanned it, nodded, kept typing. Minutes passed. Then his expression changed. No, this cannot be right. What? Kara demanded. Your imprisonment was not authorized by the Arbiters. He pulled up a document. It was requested by someone else. Someone who paid a fortune to have you hidden rather than executed. Who? The broker hesitated. The request came from Earth. From the human colonial defense fleet. Specifically, from Admiral Luther Kane. Derek's blood went cold. Kane? He has been dead for 20 years. Yes, the broker said. But before he died, he left sealed orders. Instructions to be opened only if you were ever freed. He pulled up another file. Those orders were activated 6 hours ago, the moment you cut her out of that tree. Kara grabbed the screen. What do the orders say? The broker read aloud. If Kara of the Ashborn awakens, locate the human who freed her. His name is Derek Lane. Bring him to Outpost 7 on the moon of Caliban. He is the key to Protocol Ascension. Derek staggered back. How did he know my name? I was not even born when he died. I do not know, the broker said. But according to this, Admiral Kane predicted everything. Your crash, your meeting, the bond. He looked at Derek with something like pity. You were always supposed to free her. This was planned decades in advance. Kara slammed her fist on the desk. The entire room shook. Who planned it? Kane could not have known. No, Derek said quietly. That his mind raced, connecting pieces. But someone told him. Someone who could see the future. Or create it. The broker's screens suddenly went dark. Every one. Then they flickered back to life, showing a single image. A symbol. A circle within a triangle within a square, Kara hissed. The architects. Who? Derek asked. The ones who built the Empire. The ones who created the Ashborn. Her voice dropped to a whisper. The ones who supposedly died 1,000 years ago. The screens changed again. Now they showed a map, coordinates. A location deep in uncharted space. Words appeared beneath it. Come home, daughter. Your purpose awaits. Then everything went black. The broker fumbled for a backup light. They found us. We need to. The ceiling exploded. Arbiters dropped through, weapons raised. Kara shoved Derek toward the exit. Go! Find a ship! Get to those coordinates. What about you? I will buy you time. She turned to face the Arbiters. Her eyes blazed red. Power built around her like a storm. Run! Derek ran. Derek burst onto the street as the building behind him erupted in chaos. Screams. Explosions. The sound of Kara tearing through metal and bone. He sprinted toward the spaceport, dodging panicked civilians fleeing in every direction. The symbols on his arm burned. The bond pulled tight, stretching like a rubber band ready to snap. He could feel Kara fighting, feel her rage. Her power flowed through him even at a distance, making his heart hammer against his ribs. A ship. He needed a ship. The spaceport was small, maybe 20 landing pads. Half were empty. Derek vaulted a fence and ran across the tarmac. A cargo hauler sat on pad 7, engines warm, ramp down. He took the chance. Inside, a pilot looked up from pre-flight checks. Woman, maybe 40, grease on her hands. Hey, this is private property. Derek raised his hands. I need transport. I can pay. I am not a taxi service. Please. People are dying back there. She glanced past him toward the settlement. Smoke rose. Sirens wailed. Her expression hardened. Get in, but you owe me an explanation. Derek climbed aboard. The ramp sealed. The pilot dropped into her seat and fired the engines. Name is Victoria Grant. Strap in. Derek Lane. They lifted off. Through the viewport, Derek saw the data broker's building collapse. Flames reached toward the sky. Then something else rose from the wreckage. Kara. She floated 10 feet above the ground, surrounded by crimson energy. Arbiters swarmed her like insects. She swatted them aside. Their eyes met across the distance. She nodded once, then turned and unleashed a wave of force that flattened everything in a 100-yard radius. What in the hell is that? Victoria demanded. Someone I freed. Someone I should not have. Derek felt the bond surge. Power flooded into him so fast he gasped. His vision doubled. He saw through Kara's eyes for a split second, saw her surrounded, saw her smiling. Then the connection cut. No! Derek slammed his fist against the console. The metal dented. Victoria stared at him. Your arm is glowing. He looked down. The symbols blazed white, spreading across his chest and neck. I know. Just fly. Get us out of atmosphere. Where are we going? Caliban's moon. Outpost 7. That is deep into contested space. Nobody goes there. Someone wants me there. Derek pulled up the coordinates on his wrist display. And I need to know why. Victoria hesitated, then punched in the jump calculations. You are going to tell me everything. So he did. As they broke atmosphere and entered the black, Derek explained, the tree, the bond, the arbiters, the message from the dead admiral. Victoria listened without interrupting, her knuckles white on the controls. When he finished, she was quiet for a long moment. You realize this sounds insane. I know, and you still want to fly into a trap. It is not a trap if I know it is coming. That is exactly what a trap is. She initiated the jump drive. Space twisted. Stars stretched into lines. But I have been hauling cargo for 15 years. Boring work. Maybe it is time for insane. The jump lasted 6 hours. Derek spent them trying to understand his new abilities. The symbols responded to intention. When he focused, they glowed brighter. When he pushed, energy flowed outward. He practiced in the cargo bay, small bursts of force that dented crates. Victoria watched from the doorway. You are dangerous. I did not ask for this. Nobody asks for power. It just finds people. She tossed him a ration bar. But what you do with it, that is a choice. They dropped out of jump near Caliban. The moon hung in space like a gray marble, pockmarked with craters. Outpost 7 sat on the dark side, barely visible against the rock. No life signs, Victoria said, scanning. Place is dead. Then we go carefully. They landed on a pad covered in dust. The outpost was old, pre-Empire construction, squat buildings connected by tubes. Everything dark except for a single light in the central structure. Derek and Victoria suited up. The moon had atmosphere, barely, enough to breathe with help. They crossed the pad, weapons drawn. Victoria carried a pulse rifle. Derek had only his hands. The central building's door was unlocked. Inside, emergency lights flickered. Dust covered everything. Footprints led deeper into the complex. Recent prints. Someone beat us here, Victoria whispered. They followed the trail to a command center. Screens lined the walls, most dead. One showed a looping message. The same symbol from the broker's office. Circle, triangle, square. Derek approached a console. It activated at his touch, responding to the symbols on his skin. Data flooded the screen. Files, hundreds of them, all labeled with one word, Ascension. What is this? Victoria asked. Derek opened the first file. Video footage appeared. A laboratory. Scientists working on a massive cylindrical chamber. Inside the chamber, suspended in fluid, was an orc child. Kara, decades younger. The audio crackled to life. A voice. Admiral Kane. Project Ascension. Day 1. Subject designation. Red Storm. Objective. Create a genetic bridge between human and Ashborn physiology. If successful, humanity will inherit the power of the Empire's greatest warriors. Derek's stomach turned. They experimented on her. The video continued. Years, compressed into minutes. Kara, growing, training, fighting, killing, then escaping. The scientists panicking. Kane giving orders to hunt her down. Another file. Kane, older now, recording in secret. I have made a terrible mistake. Kara was never meant to be a weapon. She was meant to be a teacher. The architects told me this in their final message. They knew humans would find her. Knew we would try to control her. This was the test. Victoria leaned closer. Test for what? Kane continued. The architects left behind their power. Scattered across the galaxy in living vessels. The Ashborn. Each one a key. When a human bonds with one, truly bonds through sacrifice and trust, Protocol Ascension activates. The human becomes something new. A hybrid. The next step in our evolution. Derek's hands shook. He knew. He knew I would free her. Not you specifically, Victoria said, but someone like you. Someone willing to help without asking for reward. The final file opened automatically. Kane appeared, ancient now, days from death. To whoever freed Kara, you carry humanity's future in your blood. The Arbiters will try to kill you. They fear change, fear evolution, but the architects planned for this. Go to the coordinates I provide. Find the others. Find the remaining Ashborn. Free them. Bond with them. Create an army that can stand against the old empire and everything it represents. The screen went dark. Then new coordinates appeared. Dozens of them. Locations across the galaxy. Other Ashborn. Derek breathed. They are all imprisoned like Kara was. Victoria backed away. This is too big. We cannot. The building shook. Alarms blared. Victoria pulled up exterior cameras. Ships. Dozens of them. Arbiter vessels surrounding the outpost. They tracked us, she said. Derek felt the bond flare. Kara was alive. Distant, but alive. She was coming. Racing across space toward him. He could feel her fury, her determination. How long until they breach? He asked. Minutes. Derek looked at the coordinates, at the faces in the files. Other Orc prisoners. Other potential bonds. Other futures. Can you transmit this data? To who? Everyone. Broadcast it across every network. Let humanity know what was done. Let them know what we can become. Victoria's fingers flew across the console. This will start a war. The war already started 30 years ago. Derek moved toward the exit. We are just choosing a side. The transmission launched. Across the galaxy, screens lit up with Kane's confession, with images of the imprisoned Ashborn, with the truth about Project Ascension. The Arbiters breached the door. Derek met them in the corridor. The symbols covering his body ignited like stars. He was done running, done hiding. Come on then, he said. Power gathered in his palms. Let us see what a human can do. They charged. Derek's first punch went through an Arbiter's chest plate like it was paper. The soldier flew backward and crashed into 3 others. Energy crackled along Derek's arms as muscle memory he had never earned took control. The bond was teaching him. Kara's decades of combat experience flooding his nervous system. He ducked under a plasma bolt, rolled forward, came up swinging. His fist connected with the helmet. The metal crumpled. The Arbiter dropped. Victoria fired from behind cover, her pulse rifle tearing chunks from armored shoulders. There are too many. She was right. For every one Derek put down, 2 more pushed through the breach. They filled the corridor like a steel tide. Weapons raised, energy building. Derek planted his feet. The symbols on his skin flared so bright the Arbiters shielded their eyes. He thrust both palms forward. Force erupted outward in a cone of destruction. The corridor became a wind tunnel. Arbiters flew backward, slamming into walls, each other, the ceiling. Bodies broke. The effort dropped Derek to one knee. Blood dripped from his nose. Too much power, too fast. His human body was still adapting. Derek! Victoria grabbed his shoulder. We need to move! More Arbiters poured in through side entrances. They were adapting too, spreading out, surrounding them. Derek staggered upright and followed Victoria deeper into the outpost. They ran through abandoned labs, past rows of empty stasis pods, equipment covered in 30 years of dust. There, Victoria pointed to a service tunnel. They dove inside as plasma fire chewed up the doorframe behind them. The tunnel was narrow, barely tall enough to crouch. They crawled fast, knees scraping metal. Behind them, cutting torches sparked to life. The Arbiters were coming through. Victoria kicked open an exit grate. They tumbled out into a hangar, empty except for one ship. Old military design. A drop frigate painted with faded Earth Defense Fleet markings. That is Kane's personal transport, Derek said, recognizing it from the files. Can you fly it? No. Can you? Victoria was already sprinting toward the ramp. "I can fly anything!" They hit the cockpit as the Arbiters breached the hangar. Victoria's hands flew across controls that should have been locked, but the ship recognized Derek's presence. The symbols on his skin interfaced with the ancient systems. Authorization granted. Engines roared to life. The frigate lifted off as plasma fire hammered the hull. Victoria punched the throttle. They shot through the hangar doors, tearing them off their hinges, and launched into open space. Arbiter ships gave chase immediately, 20 of them. Sleek hunters built for speed. "Shields!" Victoria shouted. Derek found the controls. Shields flickered online, decades-old capacitors struggling to charge. An impact rocked them sideways. Warning lights blazed across every panel. "This thing is falling apart." Victoria yanked the stick, dodging another volley. "We need backup. We do not have backup." "Then make some!" Derek felt it then. The bond stretching across impossible distance. Kara was close, racing toward them through the void. He closed his eyes and reached out through the connection. "Where are you?" Her response was immediate, her voice in his mind like thunder. 2 minutes out. "Hold on." Derek opened his eyes. "She is coming." "Who? Kara?" An explosion blossomed to their left. An Arbiter ship came apart in pieces. Then another. Something tore through the enemy formation like a meteor made of rage. Kara. She was flying. Actually flying through open space without a ship, surrounded by a sphere of crimson energy. Her eyes burned like dying suns. She grabbed an Arbiter vessel with both hands and crushed it like a tin can. Oxygen vented. Bodies tumbled into the black. The remaining ships turned to engage her. A mistake. She moved faster than their targeting systems could track. She landed on one ship's hull, punched through, and tore it apart from the inside. Emerged from the explosion without a scratch. Victoria stared in disbelief. She can survive in vacuum? Ashborn do not need air. Derek watched Kara destroy another ship. They were made for war in any environment. But even Kara had limits. The Arbiters adapted, firing in coordinated volleys. One blast clipped her shield. She spun, momentum lost. They swarmed. Derek felt her pain through the bond, felt her shields weakening. Without thinking, he reached out with his power. Energy flowed from him across the void, raw and uncontrolled. It hit Kara like a lightning bolt. She gasped. Her shields doubled in strength. Her eyes found the frigate through the chaos, found Derek through the viewport. She smiled. "Together, then," she said in his mind. They fought as one. When Kara pushed, Derek fed her power. When she dodged, he anticipated the attacks through their shared awareness. The bond had evolved beyond simple connection. They were synchronized. The last Arbiter ship exploded. Debris scattered across space. Silence fell. Kara flew to the frigate. Victoria opened an airlock. She came aboard, skin still crackling with residual energy, eyes fading back to gold. "You broadcast the files," she said to Derek. "Yes, good." She moved to the cockpit, studied the navigation console. "The Empire will know now. They will mobilize everything to stop us." "Can they?" Victoria asked. "Unknown. But they will try." Kara pulled up a star map, marked locations. "These coordinates. The other, Ashborn. We need to reach them before the Arbiters do." Derek counted the markers. 47. "We are 3 people in one ship." "No." Kara zoomed out, showing communication channels lighting up across the galaxy. "The broadcast is spreading. Humans are responding. Some are flying to the coordinates already. Others are sharing the data, exposing more secrets. You started something, Derek Lane. A movement." Victoria pulled up incoming transmissions. Hundreds of them. Thousands. Messages from colonists, soldiers, smugglers, scientists, all asking the same thing. "How can we help?" "They want to free the Ashborn," Victoria said, awe in her voice. "They want to bond with them. Some will." Kara's expression was grave. "Many will die trying. The Arbiters will slaughter anyone who reaches the prison sites. But enough will succeed. Enough humans will bond. And when they do, the Empire will face something it has never faced before." "What?" Derek asked. An army of hybrids? Human determination combined with Ashborn power. She looked at him. This is what the architects intended. Humanity needed to prove itself worthy, needed to choose sacrifice over safety. You made that choice when you freed me. Others are making it now. Derek felt the weight of it, every death that would follow, every battle, every life changed forever. I just wanted to help you. I know, that is why you were chosen. Kara placed a hand on his shoulder. The architects saw what humans could become, not through conquest or force, through compassion, through the willingness to free the imprisoned even at great cost. An alert chimed. We have incoming. Fast movers. 20 ships. No. 40. No. 100. Her eyes widened. They are friendly. Human ships, answering the call. Derek watched through the viewport as vessels of every size and shape dropped out of jump. Cargo haulers like Victoria's, personal yachts, military deserters and stolen fighters, even colony transports. They formed a ragged fleet around the frigate. Transmissions poured in. Voices from across the galaxy. We heard the broadcast. We want to help. My grandfather served under Kane. If he believed in this, so do I. I lost family. Tell us how to fight back. Kara surveyed the fleet, something like hope crossing her face. They will need training, guidance, and protection from what comes next. What does come next? Victoria asked. Derek felt it before Kara spoke. A disturbance in the bond. Something massive moving through space. Something ancient and terrible. The Empire's true power, Kara said quietly. The Arbiters were just enforcers. Now the Lords themselves are coming. The ones who built the Empire. The ones who created and destroyed the Ashborn. A ship emerged from jump space. It dwarfed everything around it. Miles long. A floating city of black metal and glowing conduits. Weapons that could crack planets bristled along its hull. A transmission cut through every channel. A voice older than nations. Humans, you have violated sacred law. Return the Ashborn to their prisons or be erased from existence. You have 1 hour to comply. The fleet stirred. Some ships broke away, fleeing. Others held position, weapons charging. Derek looked at Kara. Can we win? Not today. Not here. She pulled up the nearest coordinates. But we can survive. Can reach the next Ashborn. Can build our strength. Howard could have slipped outside of our perimeter is. Her jaw set. This is not about one battle. It is about the future. Victoria set course. Then let us go make one. The fleet followed. The nearest Ashborn was imprisoned on a dead world called Thresh, 3 jumps away. The fleet scattered to avoid pursuit, agreeing to rendezvous at the coordinates. Derek, Kara, and Victoria jumped alone. They arrived to find they were not first. 5 ships already orbited Thresh, weapons trained on a massive crystalline structure jutting from the planet's surface, the prison. Inside, visible through translucent walls, an orc man hung suspended in stasis field, muscles frozen mid-struggle. His name is Garrett, Kara said softly. He was my brother in arms, the strongest of us. A transmission came through. Frigate, identify yourselves, Victoria responded. We are here to free the prisoner. So are we, but the structure is shielded. We cannot break through. Derek studied the prison through scopes. The same design as Kara's tree. Grown rather than built. Organic technology fused with something older. The symbols on his arm pulsed in recognition. I can open it, he said. The Arbiters will detect the moment you do, Kara warned. They are already hunting us. Then we work fast. They landed near the prison's base. The other ships followed, crews disembarking. 15 humans total. Miners, traders, 1 ex-soldier, all armed, all determined. Derek approached the crystalline wall and placed his palm against it. The symbols on his skin flared. The prison recognized him as bonded, as authorized. Cracks spiderwebbed outward from his touch. It is working, someone said. The cracks spread faster. The structure groaned. Inside, Garrett's eyes snapped open. Golden. Aware, he saw Kara through the walls, and recognition blazed across his face. Then the sky tore open. 3 Arbiter ships dropped from orbit, weapons already firing. The human ships engaged immediately, buying time. Plasma fire lit up the gray sky. "Faster!" Kara shouted. Derek pushed harder. Energy poured from him into the prison. The bond strained. His vision blurred. Blood ran from his ears. The structure was fighting back, trying to reinforce itself. An explosion rocked the ground. One of the human ships went down in flames. Victoria fired her rifle at descending Arbiters. "We are out of time!" Derek screamed and released everything. Every ounce of power Kara had given him. The prison shattered like glass. Garrett fell forward, crashing to his knees, gasping his first free breath in decades. He looked up, saw Kara, saw Derek. Understood immediately. "You bonded with a human." His voice was deep, resonant, clever. "Can you fight?" Kara asked. Garrett stood. 8 feet of pure muscle. His smile was terrible. Always. He charged the nearest Arbiters without weapons, without armor, just raw strength and decades of contained fury. His fists became hammers. Every punch shattered armor. Every kick sent soldiers flying. A human woman, the ex-soldier, ran to his side. "I will help you." Garrett grabbed an Arbiter's weapon and tossed it to her. "Then keep up." They fought together, moving in sync despite never having met. She covered his flanks. He broke through enemy lines. Something clicked between them. Derek felt it through his bond with Kara, a new connection forming. "She is bonding with him," Kara said, wonder in her voice. "The process is accelerating." The woman's arm began to glow, different symbols than Derek's. "Unique patterns," she gasped as power flooded her system, then laughed and fired with renewed strength. More Arbiters landed. The human ships were losing. Burning wrecks littered the battlefield. "We need to leave," Victoria shouted. "Not without them." Derek pointed to the remaining humans. 5 were down. 10 still fighting. Garrett roared orders. "Fall back to the ships, covering fire." They retreated in stages, Garrett and his new bonded partner holding the line. Derek channeled power to them through Kara, the 3 bonds creating a network of strength. Together, they were unstoppable. They made it to the frigate. Engines hot. Victoria at the controls. Everyone aboard. Kara counted heads. 12 survivors. Better than expected. They lifted off as the last human ship exploded. Garrett and his partner collapsed in the cargo bay, breathing hard, both marked with glowing symbols now. "Where to?" Victoria asked. Derek pulled up the coordinates. 46 locations remaining. The next one. And the one after that. "We keep going until they are all free. The Empire will send everything," the ex-soldier said. Her name was Claire. "They will crush us. Let them try." Garrett stood, testing his restored strength. "For 30 years I dreamed of vengeance. Now I have it. And an army to build." Kara smiled. 2 Ashborn freed. 2 humans bonded. The architects would be pleased. Derek looked at the ragged survivors, exhausted, wounded, but unbroken. "We started with 1 ship. Now we have proven it works. When word spreads, more will come. More humans willing to bond. More Ashborn waiting to be freed." Victoria set course for the next coordinates. "Then we had better get moving. The galaxy is not going to save itself." They jumped. Behind them, more ships were already arriving at Thresh, dozens, all responding to the broadcast, all ready to fight. Across the stars, humanity was awakening to its potential, not as conquerors. Every freed Ashborn meant another bonded pair, another hybrid warrior, another soldier in a war that would reshape the galaxy. The Empire had ruled for millennia through fear and control. Now they faced something they could not control, could not imprison, could not defeat. They faced humanity's greatest weapon, the refusal to abandon those in need, no matter the cost. Derek watched stars streak past through the viewport. The symbols on his skin pulsed with steady light. Kara stood beside him, her hand on his shoulder. "This is just the beginning," she said. "I know. Are you ready?" Derek thought about Kane's message, about the architect's plan, about every imprisoned Ashborn waiting for someone brave enough to cut them free. He smiled. Humanity, yeah. The frigate jumped to the next battle, and the next. Behind them, the revolution spread like wildfire. Ahead, the